How does your offer inform who you target in cold email? Better yet, how does it change how you target them? In this live consult, we'll go through all of this and more to define campaign types and angles for an expert copywriter that has worked with several billion-dollar companies. And towards the end, I'll break down a similar campaign structure inside Clay that generated a 0.8% call booking rate and over 3% positive reply rate for one of my clients. What's up, D? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey man, what's up? So I'm D. I'm currently not seeable because I'm living in Belgium and I have a shitty internet. So that's one. Sorry for that. And secondly, so I have more than 10 years of marketing experience in different fields. My expertise is more of positioning and messaging and copywriting, right? So I'm also skill stacking right now. I'm trying to learn everything I can because I recently went solo as a marketer. Like it's been 5 months or so. I'm developing my personal brand. Also currently learning cold emails. And I want to push my offer, the new offer that we are going to talk about, as much as people possible. So yeah, that's me in short.
So to be honest, I was really excited to talk to you because I've seen you've been kind of publicly sharing your cold DM journey, and you have some of the most flavorful copy I've seen when it comes to that. And I think humor is such a huge recipe for success that it's not really a skill people can just pick up, I find, when it comes to showcasing personality and humor in writing. So I think you have a huge advantage there. And obviously your background as a copywriter is just insane. 10x anything I could aspire to when it comes to solely copywriting. So definitely excited to see what we can figure out here. As you went through cold email, like, were there any pressing questions that came to mind for you in terms of, how you go about finding people, volume, how much to send per day, or anything like that?
I have a little bit idea of every topic. I went over a course, but I really don't know how to pinpoint my people, my target audience. And about writing as well, email copywriting is a little bit different. I'm in cold email copywriting. So I would love to also hear your opinion. I just read something from you, a tweet. It's all about market research in a way, for you, more than copywriting. So I would love to also hear that aspect from you. But like the main point is, just to understand how can I find my ideal customers. That's the main pain point of mine right now.
I think we can definitely make that happen. So yeah, when it comes to cold copy, I think the reason it's so like data reliant as opposed to, say, writing an ad or something is that when you write an ad, typically the ad's being served to that person over and over again, and it's in a video format where trust can be built, and trust may already exist. Whereas with a cold email, there is zero trust off the bat. Off the rip, they probably don't know who you are or what you're selling at all. There's almost zero awareness. So data is what's going to help you bridge that gap of awareness and also prove that you're legitimate, basically, is the way I would describe it. But yeah, that's kind of how I look at copywriting and email. But in terms of your offer, let's walk through that. So before the call we chatted, and you said that your main kind of demographics would be B2B SaaS, particularly marketing tech and fintech. So maybe before the offer, tell me why you want to target marketing tech and fintech specifically, and then we can dive into the offer.
Marketing is something I know for years now, and I used many tools because I've been an SEO writer or I was an inbound marketer at one time. So I used CRMs, SEO tools, keyword tools, marketing tools. I just know about marketing. So it's just relevant to me that I position marketing SaaS because I know the landscape more than other industries.
So marketing SaaS is a pretty broad category, though. Would you say that it's like content marketing, AI, ads, copy, like, you know what I mean? There's a ton of things here.
Yeah. Like, I would say more about copywriting stuff and content marketing stuff because that's what I know the best. But I was also hesitating to niche down in marketing SaaS because currently in my portfolio, I don't have. So the offer is, maybe I should introduce the offer first before, buy. Can I?
Yeah, absolutely. Dive in.
Yes. So the offer is, I'm calling it category domination framework, right? It's all about being the leader in the category or just coining a category in the market. And we have 3 legs in this offer, right? The first one is positioning and messaging, right? It's the fundamentals. We are checking the competitors. We are checking our tool, and we are looking the market. We are seeing what competitors aren't saying, and still people needs to hear. And then we find a message, a positioning for the brand. And then, that's the first leg of the offer, finding the positioning. Then the second part is content marketing. Basically, you are now selling that belief on social media or that positioning. You are talking about your message, your positioning, your intentions. So you found this positioning and carrying it to socials to communicate with your customers, to show intention of who you are and what you are trying to achieve.
And which socials are the priority here?
Like text-driven socials, mostly. LinkedIn, LinkedIn, Twitter. Actually, it's only channel because I can't edit or do videos for them, but I know how SEO works. So it's also like YouTube is also included. I can basically create a content plan for them.
But can't you script it?
Yeah, I can, of course. Yeah.
So that's perfect because that's the most valuable part of YouTube anyway. It's the least commoditized aspect, right?
Yeah. So yeah, like I can basically do the content strategy for all channels, and I can script it, or it can be do it for you or do it with you. In the offer, it's like that, by the way. So if they want a full coverage of, hey, just come and do everything for us, I can do that. But otherwise, it can be do it with you as well. Just outline of the content and everything. So the content part, yeah.
So I actually think based off of the fact that you have it done with you, and I was going to say this before, but I wanted you to get to it, is that if you have it done with you, I don't think there's a need for you to necessarily bog yourself down and only focus on marketing and fintech. We'll talk more about it later, but depending on how we go about qualifying leads here within SaaS in general, like SaaS founders in general, I think you have an opportunity to hit a much broader demographic and just focus on done for you with marketing, tech, and fintech, things or potentially, healthcare and wellness, and then drip down into done with you, specifically targeted towards the other industries. Because you're teaching the skill, you don't necessarily have to know that specific industry perfectly, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Awesome. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, this is the content part. And the point is to repeat the message until you own the message, until you have a share from the market, like a dominant share. And then, of course, we are funneling all these people with the content we have to an email list.
Just for the viewer, give me an example of someone who owns a message.
For example, on Twitter, there's a guy called George Tan, right? And he calls himself copy thinker. So everyone is copywriter, but this guy is copy thinker, and he has a different school of thought behind this. He says framing strategy is more important than the copy itself. And basically
I feel the same.
Huh? Yeah, me too, by the way. That's how I feel as well. So people have that feeling, follows him. And if somebody else comes to market, like whatever copywriter that is, he or she can't touch George because he's a copy thinker. So that's a good example of coining a category or owning a category.
So now he's the only one selling copy thinking, basically.
Yeah. And by the way, in SaaS, if I should give an example, chatbots, Intercom, and there's also Drift.
Your name is too good, man. Dude, owning your category is decommoditizing yourself.
Yeah. By the way, that's what is in my offer, because once you decommoditize yourself, you can fucking sell yourself for whatever price you want, or there's a gap in price. So Drift,
very cool.
Said, when everyone is telling about chatbots, like it's all automated, they coined the term inside the category conversational marketing, and they said our chatbots are actually having like human, they're having the conversation. That. So like that, they differentiated and they took to market share. So that's also one of the examples in B2B SaaS, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, so my goal is to find that angle, the positioning in the first phase of the service offer. Mm-hmm. And the second phase, we are creating content, repeating the message strategically. Then, of course, we are funneling people to email list. Right? That's
Perfect.
The third.
Is that the third aspect?
Yeah, third aspect. And then in the email list, of course, SaaS email is different. We are telling the story. We are introducing the tool. We are always on top of mind by sending, 2 to 5 emails per week. Maybe for SaaS, it's less than that. But anyway, there we are now selling the philosophy, with emails. So we have, as I said, like 3 legs of it. First, find the philosophy. Secondly, just distribute the philosophy, then sell the philosophy in the end.
I would say 3 phases.
Yeah.
I like that. Message, own the message, sell the service / sell the message.
Yeah, sell the message, yeah.
Great. That's perfect. And ideally, you'd want to be selling all 3 phases, right? I think I remember you telling me about a story and just, validating the offer here. You were just chatting with someone in a bar, and by the end, they just wanted to buy it off you. Is that correct?
Yeah. The positioning part, actually. Especially.
The positioning part.
And the content parts. Like, that's the thing with this offer. I've been testing it through Twitter cold DMs, and people reach out to me. I'm also sending them a customized loom, and they're telling me, oh, yeah, I need the positioning part, or oh yeah, I need the positioning and content part. So it's like an open buffet offer, but of course I would love to do all 3 for a company.
Perfect. So in terms of sources, obvious ones come to mind are GetLatka. Another one would be Ocean, probably the easiest way for you. These are probably the 2 easiest ways for you to get a crap load of leads, but actually qualifying who they are and what they do more specifically is going to take a little bit more work. So to pull this into what your ICP is, you probably want them to already have email marketing. Is that correct? You probably want them to already be doing it?
Yeah, and yes and no, by the way. But so my ICP in my head was like 11 to 50 employees, and they somehow scaled up the SaaS product, but they really don't have a positioning. They're just, maybe they started early, maybe they got lucky with the marketing, but they don't have a solid positioning, so they are reconsidering things maybe. That's my ICP.
What about well-funded companies that aren't that big?
Then, that's also, you know better than me.
If they have money, right? Why not?
Yeah, definitely. Or it could be repositioning for bigger companies. If they want to reevaluate their positioning in the market. And then
The thing is, this is a founder-led strategy though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like this. Awesome. And then, so this is more of like your company. What does your ideal customer look like? Think the person. Think the founder, you know?
Yeah. Active on socials. Trying to build a personal brand. Like he has an intention maybe to build a personal brand, but he doesn't have time.
So how do you think we qualify doesn't have time? Because this is easy. I can make this happen very easily. But what comes to mind? What does someone who doesn't have time look like to you?
Just
maybe posting on and off?
Yeah, on and off. Indeed. Maybe like there are 5 days gaps in his posting schedule.
Maybe lots of followers, but few posts recently.
Yeah, like maybe on LinkedIn, especially lots of followers and no posts at all. That could be a good indicator. And then, maybe a YouTube channel that is, deserted.
So I think the problem with YouTube potentially is that YouTube, they could have a YouTube channel that they posted on like 5 years ago for a completely different company. I think the problem with SaaS in trying to do that is that a lot of the time people abandon YouTube channels because they've just pivoted what they do, right?
Yeah. But at the same
Whereas
time,
LinkedIn is a more true depiction of what they currently are, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see whether they have intention of creating content. Because creating a YouTube and quitting it is also an intention. And it's just indication of personality that I want to create content or I want to be on socials. I believe in socials.
Perfect. So I think outside of this, do you have anything else in terms of your ICP that you've gathered that could be relevant?
Let me think a little bit. Not really, no.
Okay, perfect. So in my mind, there's going to be some layers to this. We're going to be looking for people that aren't active on social media, right? That do maybe have a newsletter, and we can find this out, or are doing email marketing. And then if we go through your offer, we have multi-channel content marketing, selling the belief on social media, owning the word, own the message. We can enrich to find companies that do have active social medias outside of, say, LinkedIn, and look for like activity on Twitter, Facebook, IG, YouTube. And then we might say, do a poll for, do they have a person leading their content strategy?
Yeah.
Right? So we can think about some jobs here. Do they have a person managing it, like a social media manager?
Maybe do they have ads already? Could be also something, Facebook ads.
So what's the significance to you of the Facebook ads?
It's just intention to be out there, to like they want a bigger share in the market, or they want to be noticed. They want more customers.
So how about this? They have Facebook ads, and we find how much spend they have. And we use that as a precursor to showcase the value of the offer. You could spend X amount on Facebook ads today, or you could have something evergreen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like continually generating value. So, dude, honestly, you could make an entire offer. This would be something that's in your outreach, but once you get a positive reply, you could make your entire sales call partially around the fact that they're spending 100K per month, 10K per month on Facebook, and that reallocation of that budget could be X amount more profitable. And I think a big one that you could lean on with an offer like this is just the value of community that you own, right? Because that's really what a newsletter is. The value of community or owned marketing channels. And I know this top of mind actually, according to HubSpot, is 17x ROI.
Okay.
They're never going to get that in ROAS.
Yeah.
So I think that's super interesting. Sure, Facebook can definitely show intent to spend, and it can show that they might have revenue for sure. The only other thing is that like a lot of SaaS just don't show their revenue. Because like most of them these days, like just generally most companies finding success and that are online are actually just privately held. So you can't get revenue data. So creative ways we can figure out revenue data would just be taking website visitors.
Mm-hmm.
And multiplying them by an estimate of their product cost versus average conversion rates.
All right.
And then obviously you have like employee count. That's going to make a huge help you estimate kind of what the revenue is going to be like based on the number of employees they have, if they can afford your service. And then of course, well-funded companies, unless they're crazy and their burn rates are out of this world, they've been using too much GPT-4 API credits or something, then you should be able to know that they have money as well. So in that case, there's a few places you can look for finding some companies. So I actually think Crunchbase is going to be sick for you. Crunchbase will make it really, really easy for you to niche down by industry. And you can bypass Crunchbase's limits for scraping with Instant Data Scraper. And I think I can actually get you a discount code for Crunchbase that's like significant amount off as well.
Yes,
if you wanted to go that route. And honestly, like, do you have a lot of connections with like VCs or anything along those lines? Because one of the cool things with Crunchbase is that you can do like what I would call like a shared investor campaign. So if you have colleagues that have been invested in or connections that have been invested in by a specific company, you can use like name drops to bridge the gap and be like, X was talking to Y from YC and mentioned you're also a portfolio company or whatever,
Yeah, not really. I don't have connections like that, no.
No worries. So the cool thing about Ocean is that Ocean's going to let you do something really cool, which is input a few companies that you consider your ICP. So you could grab a few marketing related SaaS. Maybe, I don't know, if you want to do like a CRM, Close would be a good one, Close CRM. You could throw in Zoho, but maybe focus on like smaller ones for sure. Zoho is a bit big. And then this will take the headache out of prospecting for you. And it'll actually just generate you lists based on these companies. So it'll just find your companies for you. And then you can find contact information inside Ocean. I personally prefer using Apollo for contact information because it's the closest thing to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has the best data. You can pull these into Apollo and get like 10,000 leads per month. And then the last data source that would be your most broad, in my opinion, D, is make a Get Lacta account, throw Instant Data Scraper in it. You'll be able to pull like 20,000 SaaS companies, to be honest, right off the bat. And there's a bunch of different filters. It's like the most exhaustive SaaS database there is. There's a bunch of, I don't need a money sign there, 20,000 companies. There's a bunch of filters that'll let you like sort by employee count. Some of them will have revenue. You can sort by industry as well, but you only really get to scrape Get Lacta once because they're going to ban you after. So if you're going to scrape it, just scrape everything. And this can be your broad list. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That you can use over and over again. And you would throw this inside Apollo. And same process to unlock Apollo, use Instant Data Scraper. You find your targets. You're going to be looking for founders, owners, C-suite, in certain cases, maybe partners even, like a general partner could be possible, depending on if it's like an acquired business or not. And then from there, you can pull those contacts based on this list of companies, based on their domains. You save those contacts, and then you actually scrape from your saved list, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do data scraper, and I can send you like a little loom on how to do this as well. But yeah, so those would basically be your main data sources for this main offer, okay?
Yeah.
Now, you know me, I'm a big Clay guy, and Clay is where we would be making these things happen. So in my mind, based on what you're saying here, one of the number one triggers is going to be that post activity, and that's super accomplishable in Clay. So we don't even have to personalize based on the posts that they have. What I would recommend is just being like getting Claygent basically to go to the website and find out one, get a line based on what they do. So, you know, checked out your website, looks like you provide blank to blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, we're going to have to figure out if they're B2B because your preference is B2B.
Yeah.
Actually, why is your preference B2B? I'm confused on that now because I feel like B2C is almost just as applicable.
In my mind, B2Bs have more money and like more business, and B2Cs are harder because you are selling to people in a way, and like creating a category there or positioning might be harder, but it's just not really hard. Maybe I mean, it's a good question. Yeah, could be B2C too. Indeed.
No worries. So we do need to figure out if they're B2B, and thankfully, again, Claygen can do this. So Claygen will actually just make an assessment based off their website. Makes an assessment of like 95% accuracy. Company is B2B or not. And that'll get you back like a yes or no answer. And then, so we get a line based on what they do and who they sell to. Awesome. Now you're getting into the framing of that you've researched them, you know, you visited their website, you checked them out. Then, you know, maybe your like sales asset here is going to end up being like an audit, a personalized loom, like brand audit basically. And it's a brand audit across their social medias and their website. So to bring in their social media aspect, be like, also checked out your LinkedIn and noticed you've only posted X in the last Y days. And you would split this into two buckets. So we're going to get complex here, man. This is going to get complex, but this is going to be worth it, okay? 2 buckets, okay? You can think of your 2 buckets as people with a lot of followers and very few followers, okay? If they have a lot of followers and they're posting only a little in the last few days, your trigger is going to be, imagine it's hard to find the time.
Yeah.
If they have a few followers and they're posting a lot, you can say, imagine it's hard to find the time to figure out social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So few followers, we'll go down here, few followers, lots of posts. And the beauty of this is that you don't even need any AI to make this happen. You're just going to pull from LinkedIn. You're going to enrich their profiles. It's called a profile enrichment. And you'll be able to see the amount of posts they've done in like key here, you're going to filter for the last 30 days. And with that, you can be like, saw you only posted 6 times in the last 30 days. Notice you've only posted 2 times in the last 30 days, but you have 10,000 followers. Imagine it's tough to find the time. Notice you've been posting a ton, like if they have over 10, but you haven't been able to get as much traction as you deserve. Imagine it's hard to find the time to figure out your brand positioning. Or have you had the time in the last bit to figure out your brand positioning? That would be poking the bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this is like what I would call one campaign angle that sets the tone really well for you. But what we really want to do is have 2 impactful messages. And I tell basically everyone this these days. And actually, Eric Shepard, our mutual friend, shared a video from Eric Navolsky, who also talks about this. Absolute goat of cold email as far as I'm concerned. Basically, the goal is to have 2 separate angles and 2 problems that you're targeting in your campaigns to figure out what part of your offer is actually most valuable to your demographic. So we might start and say this, and then our second email that's following up to build on context would be like, for example, I signed up for the newsletter on your website and actually noticed a few issues with your email sequence, opening email sequence. Would it be all right if I recorded a video and showed you why? Or I noticed there's a big disconnect between your personal brand and your business brand. Mind if I record a quick video to show you why? I'm going to pause for a second and ask you if this is kind of coming together.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, this angle is really good, in my opinion, because it uses content as the problem. And if I record a loom about that, I can show it's actually not content, but positioning. And and you can sell it as a whole because, that's the problem. So it's a good Trojan horse, in my opinion, here. But email marketing, if we use email marketing angle, it's harder to sell positioning and the other things because email is kind of isolated from positioning and content marketing in a way. Yeah. But I have a question, by the way. Like, technically, how do you execute this? In Clay?
Yep. All of this is in Clay. So I'll only write down things that are possible to do in Clay without having to create any special tooling for yourself. So what Clayagent's going to do for you is basically you can pull any data from a website that's not JSON. So you'll be able to pull any text from a website and any images, just not videos. Or like things that are embedded behind the website, like more into the JSON HTML. So this allow you to use AI to make a lot of assessments, pull a lot of keywords that can help you qualify aspects of your offer. So the thing I was going to get into next is like, maybe you want to figure out if they have a newsletter or not. Maybe you want to pretend that you're signing up for their newsletter and you backpedal to be like, yeah, that's an email marketing offer, but you can backpedal and show them that they all go hand in hand with one another. And the reason for this is because right now, I think the main selling point of like getting on a call for positioning prior to the call is almost always you've got to go about, them having intent and you showing them how they can save time. It's harder to go the money angle in like a short-term kind of squeeze approach. Yeah. Whereas if we go the newsletter angle, it's automatically easier to bring up the money aspect, which could be a main motivator for half your audience, right? And that's kind of the reason you do the 3 emails, 2 subject lines. Your first subject line is all about one offer, usually your main offer. And then the second email is trying to get the people who are like, I don't really want to save time. I'm actually more interested in money or status, And then you flip the script. Does that make sense?
Yeah. By the way, I'm a little bit foggy today because of the sickness. But as you said, like 20%, 15 to 25% of the revenue is coming from email, or especially for SaaS products, it means retention to reduce churning.
Nice.
It's a good selling point. Yeah.
So those can be angles in like the final offer copy, retention, majority of brand revenue, 15 to 20%, you said.
Yeah.
So this is awesome. Like, it's kind of like you can bring in another Facebook ad angle here. Why pursue new customers when right now you could be increasing your revenue from your current customer base by X amount, you know?
Yeah.
Or retaining revenue or lowering churn. Lower churn instead of retention. I think churn's probably language that would resonate more.
Yeah.
Especially with the founder. They should have that level of technical knowledge. Okay. So this would be like angle one. And to be honest, this is really easy to do. I could set all of this up for you in like 20 minutes in a table. And now you can share tables. So I could literally just share it to you and you'd have it kind of for yourself ready to go. So it looks more complicated than it is. Once you get into Clay, you're going to be like, oh, this is like a pretty easy one.
Yeah, for me, like I have questions right now. Okay, how do I do it? And then how do I apply it to emails? Because I will be mass sending. So since I'm just a noob right now, so everything seems confusing to me. Anyway, yeah.
It might help if I show you a table that I've done in the past. One sec.
Yeah.
JT. So here's an example. Let me share this tab instead. And let me know if you see it.
Yeah. Yes, now I can see it.
Awesome. So here we have like a homepage summary. So basically this went to the homepage of the company and it did it in bulk. So you can see there's a homepage summary here for like 1,000 SaaS companies, man. Actually like 4,000 if you look up here.
Yeah.
So this will take care of it for you all in bulk. And then we'll scroll to the right. You'll see I formatted company names to make them cleaner. Mm-hmm. I pulled the info from there. Looks like you provide AR-powered website solutions and hosting. Looks like you provide website management AI tools. Looks like you provide trust, security, and traceability in aerospace logistics. So like some really nuanced shit here and all in very short form writing. The goal of any AI prompt that you do for cold email, man, this is the number one piece of advice is make it as short as possible and make it so that it only has to really do 6 words. These looks like you provide are mandatory. I don't let it stray from that. And if it does, I know that it's a messed up prompt, which means that I can re-prompt that column again using like a formula. And basically what formulas are, this is going to be a little Clay masterclass for you, is a formula basically all in plain language, which is kind of nuts. And I think Clay's freezing here a little bit. But all in plain language, a formula actually basically lets you, so if we go to edit column, use AI to get a specific action to happen. So if this column does not end with a period, then add a period. So you can make fixes, you could split columns, you could say, if there's like an acronym in here, make it so the acronym is not capitalized, remove anything after the first comma, or remove anything after the second comma and replace the first comma with an and sign if you wanted to cut down on the text in all of your outputs. Like, there's basically a million different things you can do with formulas. Like, they're insane. It's basically like functions on your table, made easy with AI. But to kind of walk you through and continue walking through like what we did here, is this is a similar campaign to what you'd be looking to run that we did for a company. We enriched the types of businesses, the types of people that they sell to to make it so that we can talk about how targeted our positioning would be. Well, for you, it'd be positioning. For this, it was like a video content offer. We enriched their LinkedIn, and it was very simple. We made a formula that pulled the number of LinkedIn posts they have, and we'll go to edit column here, D, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we wanted to take the number of posts that was available, and based on the number of posts, if it was empty, we would insert the following sentence. Notice you haven't posted at all this month. I imagine it's hard to find the time. On another campaign, we added, in spite of, we added basically like another mechanism, which is the number of followers they have, if their number of followers was over 3,000. So number of followers equals over 3,000. It got added to this line, and it was a whole new line. And then I'll keep showing you. You're probably thinking like, but how do you get all of them to end up in the same, email, right? That's like one campaign you send. So we'll get there. So all of these are different formulas for different types of buckets, but they all end up in the same line. So for this person, saw you posted 5 times this month. Seems like you're really active. For this person, notice you posted 2 times this month. Seems like you're trying to be more active, Basically fitting the sentence to the person 10 times as another thing. And then it all gets pulled into, sorry, we have one more here. Saw you posted. Yeah, imagine it could be hard to find the time. So we updated that column. And then it all gets pulled into one email line. And the way you do that is you just merge the columns. And it's a simple action. You would hit like enrich data. You would hit merge. You'd actually hit new column. You can see these things get long. And you would hit merge columns, and you can bring all your columns together.
Yeah. It is so by.
So it's a process. It's certainly a process. And actually, it's usually easier to look at it in graph form. And this will show you how complex, but also how simple it is at the same time. So you can see we went from company LinkedIn to enriching the company to job titles to transforming the sentence to various formulas to create email line 2, website to homepage summary to formula to target customer titles to sentence transformation, again into email line 2 for different companies. And then you can see where we used personal LinkedIn to create email line 1 for email 1 and all the other functions that we did on the table.
Yeah.
So bird's eye view for you. But it sounds more complex than it is what I'll say. Like all of these functions are very, very doable. One other function that you would add in here is like qualifying that it's a B2B business. But yeah, any questions there?
Yeah, like no questions, lot to study. Like
Definitely.
I need to get in and learn. And it's also quite attractive to be able to do that. So I really want to do
Yes.
I don't want to send like dummy emails. If I can send that to, 500 people rather than sending a templated message to 10K people, I think this is more effective.
But dude, the beauty of Clay is that you can still send to 10,000 people, but it'll be personalized for every single person.
Yeah. And by the way, what is the pricing of sending? Because Claygent is working with ChatGPT. So you are using GPT credits there, right?
Yep.
But for sending, you are also sending in Clay. You are not using, for example, Smart Lead for your sending.
No. Smart Lead.
Oh, okay. So, okay. It works with Smart Lead. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, you would just download this table as a CSV and then upload it to your Smart Lead account. Or alternatively, you can actually just you can send the table to Smart Lead. If you wanted to. Yeah, so create Smart Lead campaign. You can see here it integrates. So you basically you have options, but personally we prefer to pull the table, clean the table up and save it into our Google Drive so we have it for future reference. I mean, it's the same idea as like you don't want to have your audience on Twitter because Twitter can disappear. We don't want our final list to stay on Clay because Clay could disappear, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just an example of a campaign we ran. This one did really, really well. Actually, the other version of this one that we did to AI companies did insanely well, like 700 contacts, 6 calls booked, which is like super solid. Bunch more positive replies. And so we'll hop out of there. But that would be one angle. In terms of cost, because you did mention cost before you thought I was sending with it, you would probably need, it depends on how many emails you send, but to be honest, you should get a ton, like more results than you need by sending like 3,000 emails in a month. I'd imagine, to be honest. If you don't, then you need to take a look at like your offer and how it addresses pain points in your current target market, less so like what you're doing with email. But if you send 3,000 emails that are targeted with a sound value proposition and all of these personalizations, I'd imagine you'd be looking at, 3 to 5 closed customers, basically.
Yeah.
So we'll share this tab instead and go back to this. But in terms of cost, at 3,000 contacts, you'd probably looking at, $40 for your Apollo account. We'll say you use Apollo. We'll say you go the Get Lacta route, which would be the cheapest for you. That's free. You just have to have a email you're okay with getting banned from ever using the platform again.
Yeah.
Instant data scrapers, totally free. You obviously have your domains, which cost money. I don't know how much you ended up getting. I think it was like $150 probably, I would imagine, or $100, depending on how many you got. And then your Smart Lead account, which is probably $40 for the amount you have to send. And then, you've got to verify these emails afterwards, which is going to cost you a couple bucks every time you verify emails. And then Clay will honestly be where you spend the most of your money. GPT is not going to cost you much at all, to be honest. To personalize a 3,000 person campaign using like all these Claygen functions, etc., using your GPT API, maybe you'll spend $10. Because you're not going to use GPT-4. Do not use GPT-4. It is going to suck you dry, basically.
Okay.
But I want to leave you with like one more angle to try, just super quick here, and that's just to check the website for newsletters. And website visitors. And make it around newsletters, website visitors, product pricing, Facebook ad spend, and you would use built with to get information about whether or not they're on Facebook. And then ad spend, I'd have to double check, but you might have to do something third party external. So maybe leave that for now. And with this bucket, we'll say, what you would be able to do is do something along the lines of, one, qualifying that they have a newsletter. So that can be the way you call them out. Like, notice you have a newsletter. You can do that audit route I mentioned, but you can start digging into the exact value of your offer. Okay. So if they have, 5,000 website visitors, which you'll get with SEMrush, and their product pricing is, $2,000, it's a B2B product. It certainly could be. And you have like bare minimum conversion rates. You can do an offer centered around, the 98% of people that don't convert, or the 99.5% of people that bounce off your landing page. Landing page. How are you going to occupy their minds and sell them long term? Basically, is the angle I'd look for, because you can directly attribute these numbers and use GPT to make like an instance of GPT to do this in bulk and make an assessment of how much bottom line revenue they're missing out on.
Okay.
So yeah, those would be like the two like really high level campaigns I would recommend. This one's going to be easy for you. Like you saw, I showed it to you in like an example table. Basically what it is, just add your own flavor. Indeed, please add your humor to all of these.
Yeah.
Like that'll be huge for you. And that's why I'm confident you're going to do super, super well with cold email. I'm I've definitely overwhelmed you, and I can tell I've overwhelmed you because that's kind of the impact Clay tends to have. Even when I talk to like other cold email experts, I talk to them about Clay and they're like, holy fuck. So lay it on me. Any questions you have, like any way I can clarify, like what are you thinking?
It's a positive overwhelm.
Good.
I should say. Because like that's the holy grail right now of the cold email. If you want to send really good campaigns, you need to learn this shit, right? So
definitely.
I saw what is possible and I will try to achieve that on my own from now on. I will experiment with it. So it opened a new school for me. You know, I will study, I will educate myself about Clay because man, like you want to do it. You want to do it for yourself. And if I can learn it, I can also provide this as a service as well. It's too valuable right now. I don't think many people are using it. So yeah.
I think a lot of people are afraid to take the time to learn it is all it comes down to. Yeah, man. Basically this and combined with like unique scraping, like your own like API-fi actors being able to scrape more specific areas of websites, I think are the most powerful tools available. But D, the beauty is that there's a ton of awesome stuff on the Clay website that'll walk you through tutorials on how to use literally every single enrichment feature they have. And you can share tables. So if you run into any troubles, you can actually just share your table with me and I can take a look and go through it and let you know what problems are arising here, why you're not getting the output you want in certain cases, or another enrichment that you could use to get your desired result, basically. But the thing I want you to take away here, more than just like, coming up with a couple of campaign ideas that I think would be beneficial for your service offering, is actually just that basically anything you can think of, and you're a creative freaking guy, man. Anything you can think of is pretty much possible if you use Clay. Like any type of targeting, like what Clay does is it's going to unlock your marketing mind to think of a whole slew of new ways that you can think of targeting people. Like with Clay, I could show you a way to pull like unlimited Instagram emails from Instagram using Google search. Like that's how stupid Clay is. like just out of nowhere, like just pull them straight off of Google, get them into your thing and sort by, a specific subset of influencers with a certain number of followers, for instance. Like just stupid things are possible. So start thinking creative and don't ask yourself if you can do things anymore. Ask yourself how you're going to make it happen, and Clay will probably be there to make it happen.
All right, man. Yeah, this is refreshing for me, really. Because
dope.
This morning I was planning to send like templatized offers. Very few customization here and there. Like lame stuff right now. After seeing this, I call this lame because it's just, first name, company name, whatever, like the classic thing. But this is, this is a way to get in, really.
The only way that like more lame style of outreach works is if you, one, are a known commodity with insane social proof in the market, and then two, your offer is completely de-risked. Like if you sent like a generic templatized offer and you said, I'm going to work for free for 90 days, or if you don't get results, you don't pay. Yeah, you're going to win some people that are going to bite, but they're probably going to be a bit low quality. So yeah, I think if you want to win great customers and win people, like your goal, right? 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs, 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs, then this is going to be along the lines of your ticket to doing that. And yeah, there's like, again, 100 different angles you could take, but give this a go to start. And yeah, do you have any general email questions you want to ask? Maybe we could talk about copywriting a bit, or what your thoughts are on copywriting and see if they differ from mine. I'm an open book for now.
One question is, I'm mentioning in the current cold DM of mine, I'm mentioning in PS that I worked with Rexona, Axe, Shell, UNICEF, but these are global brands, of course, but unrelated, right? With SaaS companies.
Yep.
B2B SaaS.
Yeah.
Should I'm also planning to add that as PS to this campaign. Should I add it, or would it seem, I don't know, unrelated, or would it seem silly? Like, okay, you work with UNICEF, but I'm B2B SaaS, what the fuck?
Yeah. I think if you can say that you did their positioning or something instead of just worked with, like be specific about how you worked with them, is if that links back to the offer, it'll be more relevant. Because to be honest, like whether you're a SaaS or another type of company, like positioning is a skill that applies, right?
100%. Yeah.
So I think based on like your offer, it's probably fine, especially because you're focusing on like marketing related SaaS and you're basically doing marketing for like just massive entities that are well known. I think it's super relevant. If you said, I worked with this like obscure niche company that's an agency that's like, it's like 7-8 figures, but it's not as much of a household name, I wouldn't include it. But just because you've worked with household names, I think it's super worth it. It's the same reason that every Joe Schmo will put that they've, their Y Combinator in their PS line or as part of their signature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can draw a connection between those two, because indeed, in some of the projects, I did the positioning and the TV commercial. TV commercial itself is positioning for that quarter or for that year.
That commercial was so good. So good.
Unit.
Yeah. So good, dude. You killed it.
It's a dope one. Yeah. Anyway, bro, I'm looking forward to this. I have a lot to do. I have to learn Clay, yes, but I will start it as soon as, like I have 14 days to figure this shit out, basically, because I will be warming up my emails, and it will be fun. These I will probably find other angles too, and I will get them to you. But the first angle, like for me, you are creating content, but you don't know what you are talking about really. You don't have positioning, and like you don't know how to create content. So that's a big pain point. Of course, I will not say you don't know how to create content, but it comes to
and in nicer words, basically, get them thinking about, has this type of content been driving clicks to your SaaS, something like that. Basically, it sucks if it isn't, and they'll be like, it isn't, shit, I have a problem. That's what I would define as like an awareness bridging question, which I've talked to you a bit about before. I think honestly, dude, another angle that would be more complicated once you get into Clay would just be to make a comparison of their LinkedIn posts, like have GPT actually read their posts themselves and compare it to the information that they're sharing on their website and like their benefits section, right? For their tool, and be like, damn, you're not really aligning with your tool at all. Can I record a quick strategy video showing you how I would write on LinkedIn if I were in your position, and then, show expertise. You're giving them something valuable, interest value connect, get that sales call, upsell them on something more involved, basically, right?
Yeah. One angle that I thought about right now is, can I compare the value proposition of the competitor, like direct or indirect competitor? Because then I can say, you are basically racing for the same piece of the cake, and you shouldn't compete. You can differentiate with your messaging or positioning.
See, that's why I wanted you to get unlocked, because that's a great point. Competitor callouts are one of the best things you can do, in my opinion, and there's a lot of great ways to do it on here. With SaaS companies that are more well known, you'll be able to use like People Data Labs, I believe, but let's see, or Owler, I think it is. Yeah, so find company competitors. This is a very expensive action. So instead of doing this, what you can do is you can combine AI with Google, and you can map the website of your company, of the company that you're looking into, to it. And then you can add country, company name, etc. So it looks like it really wants us to add company name here. Okay, it was just, let's see. There we go, company location. And then you can apply and run. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to do like a bunch of fun Google search queries that are like blank competitors, and it'll pull from like G2. You'll see it'll pull from, because you know how like basically in SaaS, every company does, here's 5 alternatives to 5 best alternatives, 7 best alternatives, 7 worst alternatives to, it's just like giving you the competitors. So you can see here that one of the identified competitors is Elementor, I Am Cloud. And then you could take these, and this will become very natural to you as time goes on. And you could be like, I think it would be a Clearbit enrichment, which would be a bit expensive, unfortunately. But you can use company name to find website, basically. Enrich a company with given company name or website. So you have company name here, Didagma, scroll down, competitor response, continue to add fields, output. Like for you, to be honest, you might just want to do like the LinkedIn description. If you can get it, it might be cheaper, or you can just Clagent their website as well to figure out exactly what they do. So here you can see it as the LinkedIn. If you can scroll through here and find LinkedIn description, then you could figure out what they do based off the LinkedIn description or how they talk about themselves. But here, let's quickly just save and run first 10 rows and see if we can get some websites from there. Which honestly, I didn't even realize Didagma is really good, man. So yeah, it's getting LinkedIn profiles for you, which is good enough. Mm-hmm. And those LinkedIn profiles you can use to get any other information you want. Basically, enrich company via LinkedIn profile, and it'll pull everything you want, and then you can start manipulating that to be like, your top competitor is occupying the exact same field as you. It might be more beneficial if you were to position like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there you go. Super possible. I just wanted to show you that it's possible, because I feel like with these videos, I don't show the possibilities enough.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's now on me to figure this out, and
definitely. Yeah. As you would expect, right? It all comes down to you eventually.
Yeah.
In business for the most part. And, the most important thing in business, I'll preach this always, is just to have a client acquisition skill and the skill you sell. If they can be the same thing, perfect. But if not, then you need to have lead generation, paid ads, social media, whatever to get clients. And then you need to have the thing that you actually sell that you're great at. And then you can really just scale and win.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
All right, man. Perfect. Then yeah, we'll put a stop to it there.
Thanks for this. Yeah. I'm looking forward to have that document of yours that you've filled in. Really,
nice.
Thank you so much for that. This was enlightening for me.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm glad, D. I'm glad. Can't wait to see you win. But yeah, we'll sign off there. I'll be back next time, and yeah, good shit.
All right, man.